video, I am going to walk you through how I helped a busy mom lose 30 pounds and go from a size large to a size small. And most importantly, we eliminated mom guilt, frustration, anxiety, and we saved her marriage. You're gonna wanna grab a pen and paper so that way you can begin using this case study as your own tools to get started on your own personal journey towards your weight loss and your health and fitness this new year. Let's get started. Let's go over how I helped a busy mom lose 30 pounds and go from a size large to a size small, all while eliminating guilt, anxiety, and frustration. So let's jump into sharing Evie's case study with you. So Evie lost inches off of her waistline and is officially down 30 pounds. This is Evie right here in this picture. It's her overcome mom guilt, eliminate anxiety and frustration by combining a mental and a physical health fitness approach for her to become a leader of her family through action, which is so important, and why model without sacrificing time or her lifestyle with her family. So I'm super excited to be able to share with you Evie's case study. So who this video is for. So if you're a parent that wants to lead your family through action and not just through words, this is for you. If you're a parent who is sick and tired of not having enough energy to keep up with your kids and create the memories that you want to have with them, this is for you. And if you are fed up with sitting on the sidelines and ready to be an active figure in your family's lives, this is for you. If you're ready to take a step forward in being a change agent and breaking generations of bad habits, this is for you. And if you're ready to show up in pictures with your loved ones and love what you see in those pictures, this is for you. Now, let's go over who this is not for, so we're not wasting time. If you're a parent who wants to take shortcuts in life and likes temporary quick fixes, this is not for you. If you're a parent who wants to stay stuck in a victim mindset and always saying, woe is me, this is not for you. If you're a parent who wants to continue to rely on motivation alone, this is not the program for you. And if you're a parent who wants to teach your kids to use food and unhealthy habits as a way to cope with life stressors, this is not for you. And if you're a believer in a one-size-fits-all approach to mindset and health, this is simply not going to be the video for you. Now, here's the truth. You can lose weight and overcome years of poor thinking and bad habits without having to give up and sacrifice a lifestyle that you actually love and enjoy with your family. You can accomplish your vision without spending hours in the gym, missing out on family vacations, avoiding going to eat fast foods, or giving up crazy amounts of time with your family. Evie was able to be a caretaker for her kids, for her extended family, manage a busy schedule, and devote time to her husband and also her household while also losing these inches and losing the 30 pounds and keep it off. Don't worry, I'm not going to let you become overwhelmed and frustrated and give up on yourself this time. There is no such thing as addressing fitness and nutrition alone without developing a mindset and a mentality for long-term sustainable results. I want to repeat that again. There is no such thing as addressing fitness and nutrition alone without developing a mindset and a mentality that is going to make this time stick and be long-term and sustainable. If you want to be the mom, the dad that is showing up for their family, I'm going to show you exactly how to make that happen by creating a nutrition plan that fits perfectly for you and your body, how to work out from anywhere, including home, and see changes to your physique, understand how your thoughts, your behaviors, and your emotions directly impact your progress and results, and being able to identify triggers and overcome life, aka adversity, that is guaranteed to happen. And in case you don't know me already, I want to share a little bit about myself. I'm Seisha, and how I got here is I am a licensed professional counselor and a licensed alcohol and drug counselor in the state of Oklahoma. I specialize in health and addictions. In my course of being a counselor, I also became a wellness coach, and I have helped hundreds of men and women through functional fitness and boot camps and online coaching to create and get the results that they want through their body and their lifestyle. I've ran a kids program to help educate children and teach them mindset hacks and behavior and character development through interactive play and physical fitness. And during my time, over the 10 plus years that I've been doing this, I have realized that I'm able to apply my own educational background as a therapist and therapeutic methods and different types of interview and communication techniques in order to really get down to those root causes of what has been holding people back. Why have they gone on this yo-yo back and forth and not really been able to get the results that they ultimately desired and make them really stick? So through that, we're able to really develop some awesome relationships and get some amazing results. Relationship and results-driven mentality that I have developed happened through my own trial and error, through working on my own personal mind and my body. I have personally lost 40 pounds 10 years ago and been able to keep it off, even through 2 pregnancies, advanced maternal age, and I have helped transform thousands of burnt out, overwhelmed, working, anxiety, fed up parents through this exact process that I'm going to share with you that I worked with Evie. Break it all down. Steps. I want to outline the entire process, A to Z, what I did to accomplish these results with Evie using this mentality method in order to help you start losing weight, increasing your energy, and transforming your mindset. So let's look at the process. Key focus areas that I used with Evie in order to help her lose this belly fat, lower her stress, and develop a master of her own mindset. First phase is we worked on her nutrition. We had a basic baseline, and then we had different caloric boundaries and the macronutrients. We went all the levels deep. We worked on a fitness and a movement component, looking at losing fat, then building strength, and constantly having moving targets. Communication and relationship building, so establishing support and addressing some limiting beliefs, addressing life, aka our adversity, being able to identify triggers, self-sabotage, stress management, sickness, family crisis. Evie went through it all during our time together. She is a prime example of you can overcome anything that life throws at you and still be super, super successful. Moving targets. So being able to look at macro and micro goals, set objectives, celebrate our wins, and then have next level growth. With all that being said, let's take a deep breath. Take a deep breath in with me. And let's do a slow exhale. Have some really great mental clarity going into this. Here is where you're going to want your pen and paper handy, so that way you can take some notes and immediately begin to apply a lot of the same framework to your own journey to help you get momentum and get started. So I want to show you how I optimized each stage of this method with Evie so that she was no longer held back by a mentality of mistakes and frustration and things that she didn't even know she was struggling with, and finally break past years and years of mindset blocks and being stuck 20 plus pounds heavier than her frame, her body, how she felt comfortable being. First phase, let's go over nutrition. So the very first phase in just working on nutrition was just being able to identify current nutrition habits. So that all starts with just tracking. So I had Evie tracking because she had no idea what she was doing if she can't see it. So for Evie, by her beginning to track, she was able to clearly begin to see what her eating habits looked like. Then we did a review of her BMR. What is the BMR? Her BMR was, this is how many calories that Evie uses just being herself with no extra activity or anything on a day-to-day basis. Once we had that BMR, we set an initial caloric boundary for her to stay within that was a couple hundred calories less than what her BMR was. So that way, if she had no physical activity whatsoever, she could begin to slowly see the scale begin to decrease in weight because she was
using up more calories, that she was eating less calories in a day than she actually needed just doing her day-to-day activities. Then we began to be able to analyze some of her tracking and what her nutrition habits were. Once we got really consistent in that caloric boundary, and initially I set up Evie a couple hundred calories lower, and then gave her a variance window of anywhere from 10 to 20% to stay within. So a little bit under, a little bit over was just fine. She still stayed within a really nice window for where her caloric boundary was at. Then we began to make adjustments if needed. Evie, once she began tracking, really realized that she did not need as much food as she thought she needed when she began eating real food. So initially, even just starting out, wanted to challenge her to, it's like, let's just focus on eating unprocessed real foods. Like, we want to stay within our caloric boundary and then eat as much real food. And if you find yourself still being hungry, eat more real food. As long as it's real and unprocessed, like, that's going to give us the best baseline of how much food you actually need on a day-to-day basis to have the energy to feel sustained that you needed. Our next step beyond that was to set a protein target. So we had our calories and we had a protein target that she was set to stay in on a day-to-day basis. Then we did some strategic planning in order to help her hit her targets. During a collaborative approach, we were able to find what target number did she need to hit from a protein standpoint that left her feeling really energized, really satisfied and full, and then also began to see her lose the weight that she wanted to lose and the scale move in a consistent direction that she wanted it to go into. And then we actually went into a full-on macro distribution just for her analyzing brain and like be able to see all the targets, all the goals, and all the numbers. And so we were able to look at what does this full-on macro distribution look like for her. And for Evie, what worked best was actually being at 40% of her day being protein, 30% being carbohydrates, and 30% being fat. You can see like some of her meals on here, going out to eat, eating Mexican food, which she's Hispanic, and also she just enjoys Mexican food. So being able to enjoy Mexican food, have macaroni and cheese with her kids, and learning up how to pair her meals in order to satisfy the needs and the wants of her family, but also to hit her own nutrition targets. Phase 2 was looking at her fitness and movement. So for Evie, we had to identify like what her actual targets were when it came to fitness and movement, where she wanted to work out at, what worked best for her schedule. She is a special needs mom. Her son is autistic, so it's something that I could very much relate to. And with her busy schedule and being the full-time caregiver of her kids and the busyness of therapies and all that running around, it worked best for her to be able to work out from home was what she wanted, and things that could be done very quickly with a limited amount of equipment that she had. So we had to make that fit into her time schedule and be realistic for her and the demands of her family. So we did at-home strength training 3 times a week with resistance. So using dumbbells and using just a cable stationary machine that she had. And she really wanted to emphasize working on her upper body and her core. So to work on some of those mommy issues after having kids that we have going on in our core, that was a really concern for her. And wanting to feel amazing in a tank top for the summer was a goal, and be comfortable showing her upper body and her arms. So we did programming to really emphasize and target those areas of concern and want for her. Had movement targets daily. So whether that be time or distance, we would set targets for her to be able to do an elliptical for 20 minutes a day. That was really realistic, or a stationary bike that would fit into her day at some point, whether it be in the morning or the evening. So most of the time we set up a time target that would be to focus on just 20 minutes a day of movement. We adjusted these things based upon her location, equipment, and then also injury. Unfortunately, Evie had to go through all of the adversity and life things during her time in the program, and we still are addressing and going through those things on a constant basis, because that's just what it is for busy working moms, adjusting based upon location. So being able to adjust what her physical activity looked like when she was traveling and having to take care of her family's estate and everything out of her normal typical environment. And then even working around back injury. And Evie didn't even realize that after she even had her son that she had been dealing with having broken bones for a long time and just working through those. So we made a lot of adjustments and changed that programming in order to fit where she was at. So just goes to show no matter what she had to deal with, like we were able to adjust her fitness component to meet injury and then also what she had available. One big thing that I really love with Evie is being able to do mindfulness in her movement. And so being able to incorporate a mindfulness practice into her movement practice in order to help manage stress, tune into her body, what she needed, and do that just self-check-in was a tremendous game changer and helped really bring in this mind-body component. Next is communication and building trust. So specifically with Evie, she is Hispanic, and so the way that she was raised was to focus on your family, take care of your family, be very private about your own personal life, and as a strong woman leading your family, you don't have to reach out and ask for things. And we really had to break through a lot of generational patterns in this belief system that it is okay to ask for help, to make yourself a priority. And for me, this is really where the fun begins in building that relationship in the coaching process. So we had to establish and then reestablish what communication and expectations looked like. It's okay to reach out and ask for help. And this played a key role in addressing burnout, anxiety, guilt, and that it is okay to prioritize yourself, especially as a mom. And me be able to offer her that reassurance that what she's doing and taking this 20 minutes as a timeout or being able to speak up and tell your family you would rather go eat here than over here, like all those things were okay for her. We had weekly meetings, and then we actually decreased throughout our time together to bi-weekly one-on-one meetings. So one-on-one worked best for Evie of being able to build that relationship, but also in a private setting to be able to comfortably share what we were talking about, what was going on in her life. So, and she also had 24/7 message support. And I had just to really push her all the time on being able to use that and to know that it's like, that's what the coaching and the support is there for, is to be able to help you through those rough moments so that way you're never relapsing and going backwards. All right, so let's talk about all the adversity in life that gets thrown. So we just do not even have enough time to get into all the different barriers that Evie had to face, but there were a lot, and she overcame all of them with flying colors. And whenever she felt like she was taking a couple steps backwards, we were able to redirect and make sure we kept making progress and had momentum moving forward. So a few things that she had to deal with was sickness of her kids, of her boys, of family. She had to go through injury, which we already mentioned, family crisis. Even during the time together, she had a family member pass away that was very close to her. So overcoming family crises, being a caregiver to aging parents, moving, eating out, a lack of having fitness equipment. And then we were able to break these limiting beliefs that came with self-imposed expectation. The expectation of everything has to go perfect in order to see and get the results. And that is just simply not the case. We were able to break this belief that it doesn't have to look and be perfect. And we had to meet Evie where she was at the time in order to just continue to invest in herself through time, energy, and make herself a priority. So I just love being able to share some of these things that she shared with me on how she was able to get through some of those life adversity and moments. So what do we do once we get momentum? We need to keep momentum. So with Evie, we just constantly have moving targets because health, fitness, nutrition, having a healthy lifestyle is a continual process. Once you reach a goal, there's always something else that you're able to go after and just layers and layers deep with your own self-exploration and your personal development. So revisiting why, being able to do that self-check-in of why this is important. Why are you investing time, energy, resources into yourself? And as different phases and things change in life, being able to revisit the why and how we can tie that into why is it so important for you right now to have these specific goals. That is what helped Evie stay focused when all those life adversity and those moments hit. Having macro goals. So I know she won't mind me sharing this with you. This major goal and like a just recent breakthrough was to be out of the 140s before 40. And it's just like, that was the big goal. And so being able to focus in on that big goal and then create micro goals underneath that through our objectives of what happens daily, what happens weekly in order to get there. So being able to create objectives that were very relevant to Evie, very specific, so we know we're making progress. And we together during our one-on-ones analyzed those and tweaked and made adjustments as necessary. And then super important, being able to teach Evie how to create those goals and those objectives even for herself, not only from a health perspective, but how to apply setting SMART goals into other areas of her life with her kids, with her relationships, and looking for opportunities to constantly level up in mindset and self-care. So now Evie has every tool in order to be long-term successful. And that's why she's continued to be long-term successful during our time together. She has the knowledge base of what her body responds really well to from a nutritional standpoint and how to effectively move her body in any type of given situation and adjust as needed in order to make sure that she's continually hitting her targets. The reason she continues in this program, even right now, stretches far beyond helping her lose weight, having a fitness and nutrition program. She is aware of her need for accountability and that additional support and that time that we meet one-on-one that is totally able to be focused on her, and it's about her being able to invest in herself. Being able to redirect and adjust as needed when life constantly throws curveballs, emotional rises and lows and situations that cause some type of triggers. She knows she has an outlet to reach out and never lose momentum. So now that you understand exactly how this process works, I do have an offer for you as well. So if you're a busy parent with a tight schedule, if you're frustrated by wasting time and seeing no real results in this yo-yo that is gross, if you've invested in your family and helping them benefit directly through your own transformation, and if you are ready to transform your body and your mind and ready to have more energy, more focus, become more productive inside and outside of your home, and you want to see yourself be able to lose.
You are ready to lose 10% of your body weight in just 26 weeks. You need to head over to the description. Go ahead and click on the link to book your one-on-one so we can start customizing out your game plan to lose the weight, improve your mindset, and most of all, completely transform your mind and your body and make this year your year. Talk to you soon.